Hi friends, welcome to our website SoulPeace 11. This topic will cover some of the controversial topics related to Lord Krishna. For example, why did Krishna not marry Radha? Why did he have 16,000 wives? Why he was called Ranchod, etc. This audio is for the people who want to believe in Krishna, who want to love Krishna, but they are confused because of some people who bring out the topic related to the controversies. This is my humble attempt, even though I'm not qualified enough, but just a humble attempt to answer your questions and to put your mind at ease. This audio is not for people who want to criticize Krishna, who are trying to search a point, who want to start a debate. It's just the people who really want to love Krishna, who really want to be his devotee, and who really want to put their mind at ease by settling with a logical answer. So, I'll try to attempt it. Radha Krishna, the most controversial yet most worshipped love story of all time. And the question, why did Krishna not marry Radha? Well, did Krishna really need to prove his love by marrying Radha? On the other hand, it does not mean that he did not love his wives. But there were some specific reasons because of which he had to get married to those. As we all have heard, there were 16,000 wives of Krishna. Now we will discuss the spiritual significance of it. Krishna had mainly 8 wives. He was called Ashtabharya. Ashta means 8 and Bharya means wife. Because of that, different scriptures list their names differently. According to Bhagavad Puran, the names of the 8 wives in order were Rukmini, Satyabhama, Jambavati, Kalindi, Mitravinda, Nagnajiti, Bhadra and Lakshmana. Now we'll try to understand that why did Krishna have to marry Rukmini? So what was the case? Rukmini's parents were going to marry Rukmini to Krishna, but Rukmi, her brother, strongly opposed and changed Bhishmaka, their father's mind. Rukmi was an ambitious prince and he did not want to earn the wrath of Emperor Jarasandh, who was ruthless. Instead, he proposed that she be married to his friend Shishupal, the crown prince of Chedi. Bhishmaka gave in, but Rukmini, who had overheard the conversation, was horrified and immediately sent for a Brahmana, Sunanda, whom she trusted, and asked him to deliver a letter to Krishna. She asked Krishna to come to Vidarbha and kidnap her to avoid a battle where her relatives may be killed. She suggested that she do this when she was on her way to the temple or back. Rukmini asked that he claim her to marry her. She also added that if Krishna refused to comply, she would commit suicide. Krishna, having received the message in Dwarka, immediately set out for Vidarbha with Balram, his elder brother, to marry her. So, this was the case actually. So, before blaming Krishna, we should actually understand that why Krishna had to take a particular step. Rukmini is also considered to be an avatar of Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune. Krishna is an avatar of Vishnu or Narayan, and Lakshmi and Narayan have to be together. So you see, it's all pre-planned. There is no controversy at all. Next we come to the story of Satyabhama, his other wife. Satyabhama was the daughter of Satyajit, who owned the Syamantak jewel. It was a very precious jewel. Satyajit, who secured the jewel from Surya and would not part with it even when Krishna, the Lord of Dwarka, asked for it, saying it would be safe with him. Shortly thereafter, Prasena, the brother of Satyajit, went out hunting wearing the jewel, but was killed by a lion. Jambuvan, known for his role in Ramayana, killed the lion and gave the jewel to his son to play with. When Prasena did not return, Satyajit falsely accused Krishna of killing Prasena for the sake of the jewel. Krishna, in order to remove the stain on his reputation, set out in search of the jewel and found it in Jambavan's cave with his child. Jambavan attacked Krishna, thinking him to be an intruder who had come to take away the jewel. They fought each other for 28 days. When Jambavan, his whole body, terribly weakened from the hammering of Krishna's fists, finally recognized him as Rama and surrendered. As repentance for his having fought Krishna, Jambavan gave Krishna the jewel and also his daughter Jambavati in marriage. Krishna returned the jewel to Satyajit, who in turn repented for his false accusation. He promptly offered to give Krishna the jewel and his daughter Satyabhama in marriage. Krishna accepted Satyabhama as his wife but did not accept the jewel. So this is how he got married to Satyabhama and Jambavati. You see, we need to understand the circumstances. Krishna himself didn't go saying, "Oh, I want to marry you, I want to marry you." He had to do it because of the situation. Now, when Narkasur was killed, he had 16,000 women in his harem, whom he had snatched in different wars. When Krishna released them, their families' husbands refused to take them back, as they had become sinner by living with a demon. Those hapless women decided to commit suicide. Then Sri Krishna declared all of them as his wives so that they live a respectable life. No one could mock at them as they were the wives of Krishna. This was a great social work. But I will actually tell you in detail about this. It's very important to know. So, Narkasur means Narka plus Asur. Narka was his name. Narka also means hell. We say Narak, right? That is hell. He is considered the son of Mother Earth, thus called Bhaumasura. That is son of Bhumi. Bhumi means earth. Asura means demon. The demon king Naraka had kidnapped 16,100. That is, some sources say 16,000 probably for the sake of ease or simplicity. But he had actually kidnapped 16,100 women and held them in his captivity in his capital, Pragjyotisha. Naraka had stolen the earrings of Aditi. Aditi was the daughter of Brahma. Her sons, demigods, were unable to fight against Naraka. Naraka was very powerful. So, upon their request, Krishna along with his wife Satyabhama attacked Pragjyotisha on his vehicle Garud, that is the eagle, and fought a fierce battle against the demons. In that war, many powerful demons were slain by Krishna. Most important of those were Mura and Naraka. Narkasura had the curse of being killed by his own mother. Satyabhama is considered the incarnation of Mother Earth. Thus, she killed Narkasur. So you see how Mother Earth is related to Krishna. That is why he gets very agitated when someone tries to destroy Earth. That is why he was very upset with Ashwatthama when he had triggered the Brahmastra and all that. So we need to understand the significance of Mother Earth also here. So after killing Naraka, Krishna released 16,100 women that Narkasur had in captivity. When Krishna asked them to return to their houses, they refused. They were aware that the society of that age would not take back those who were taken by another man. So they were left with nowhere to go. When Krishna asked them what they wanted to do, because otherwise they would commit suicide, they all wanted Krishna to marry them. Krishna married them all at the same auspicious time, assuming that many bodies, so they could gain the status of married women and live in the society with honor again. Krishna constructed them each a palace with huge gardens full of colorful flowers. It was impossible to live with each of them, so he created 16,100 forms of himself so that he could treat them all in the same manner as his 8 wives. Scriptures say that each of them had 10 sons and 1 daughter. Some stories say that each of the 16,100 wives were rishis from the past who wanted to be part of Lord's incarnation on earth, who wanted to live closer to him and witness his life. Upon their prayer to Lord Vishnu, he granted them the boon to be his wives in his next incarnation on earth. Some stories say 16,100 women were gopis who did not want to marry anyone else but Krishna, who thus remained unmarried throughout their lives. Another theory relates the Krishna who plays the flute and the lover of music and his 16,000 wives to the 16,000 ragas or musical modes or passions or affections of the mind in Indian classical music, and their wives, the raginis, that is female raga. The raginis selected one of these ragas to which to modulate her strains for affecting and securing the heart of Krishna, the amorous and harmonious deity. Krishna, who was devoted to music, received and enjoyed every variety of modulation, multiplied to the number of 16,000, fancifully personified in the form of the woman derived from Bhauma, a name of Narkasur, a 5-stringed musical instrument. Mahabharata has the Narkasur version of the story. Some symbolize the number 16,000 to represent to 16 qualities or arts or vidyas that Krishna had, which is higher than the previous incarnations of Vishnu. Example, Ram had 14. There is another very interesting symbolic meaning. When a devotee realizes God, God appears to each as his own. Krishna manifested 16,108 forms to love them individually. Each devotee feels God in his heart as his own lover. He does not reject anyone's love. He treats them all equally, loves them all equally. Krishna built a palace, each for his 16,108 wives. Srila Prabhupada writes in his book Krishna Book, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna certainly had no business being anyone's husband or son or father, because everything belongs to him and everyone is under his control. He does not require anyone's help for his satisfaction. He is Atmarama, self-satisfied. He can derive all pleasure by himself without anyone's help. When the Lord descends to play the part of a human being, he plays a role either as a husband, son, friend or enemy in full perfection. As such, when he was playing as the perfect husband of the queens, especially of Rukmini ji, he enjoyed conjugal love in complete perfection. According to Vedic culture, although polygamy is allowed, none of the wives should be ill-treated. In other words, one may take many wives only if he is able to satisfy all of them equally as an ideal householder. Otherwise, it is not allowed. Lord Krishna is the world teacher. Therefore, even though he had no need for a wife, he expanded himself into as many forms as he had wives, and he lived with them as an ideal householder, observing the regulative principles, rules and commitments in accordance with the Vedic injunctions and the social laws and customs of society. For each of his 16,108 wives, he simultaneously maintained different palaces, different establishments, and different atmospheres. Thus the Lord, although one, exhibited himself as 16,108 ideal householders. The spiritual significance of each wife having exactly 10 sons and 1 daughter is not known. It probably means that the divine soul has so many offsprings qualities, probably in that ratio of feminine and masculine qualities. Each of 16,108 wives of Krishna had golden palaces with huge gardens full of colorful flowers. This is symbolic and means that he who weds the Supreme Soul, that is, one who attains self-realization, will have all the gold, that is, siddhis, psychic powers, palace, beauty, that is, satisfactions, that he wishes for. It is of importance to know Sakyamuni Buddha symbolized enlightened mind to golden palace. He called liberation as pure land or golden land. Lord Jesus also used the symbology of wedding when referring to self-realization in the parable of 10 virgins. He had other wives too. I'm sure he had to get married to them since the situation demanded that. Radha and Krishna are said to be one. Their love is eternal. And what is marriage? Marriage is a sacrament, a sanskar, a rite enabling two individuals to start their journey in life together. In a Hindu wedding, the multiplicity of creation becomes possible when spirit, that is Purush, unites with matter, that is Prakriti. Krishna and Radha being one did not need the basis of marriage. We have to understand this. They were just one soul and two bodies. Radha is the stream of tears which flow from Krishna's eyes when his devotees love him. It's such a beautiful statement. I'll repeat again. Radha is the stream of tears which flow from Krishna's eyes when his devotees love him. It's called dhara in Hindi, and when you repeatedly say this word, you strangely hear Radha. Dhara, 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 dhara. You hear Radha, right? That is Radha, the inseparable entity of Krishna. To understand Radha and Krishna's relationship, you need to understand that Krishna was a god, and being loved by a human wasn't something that was possible. Every human being was his devotee. There was just one person who could love him. It was he himself. And hence Radha was born, the female manifestation of Krishna, with more power, more beauty, more attraction, and more spirit. By Krishna, we mean the one who attracts all. He was that dark knight who had the flair to attract all, but was himself attracted by one and only Radha. She was the energy that resided in Krishna, the soul in him, and that's why it is said, Atma tu Radhika tasya. That means, Radha, you are his soul. It's so important. Atma tu Radhika tasya. Radha, you are his soul. So now we will try to understand who was Radha. Radha was the childhood friend of Krishna. She was one of the gopis in Vrindavan, but she was special for Krishna. She was elder to him as described in various literatures. Although no one knows the fact, Krishna left Vrindavan for his worldly duties when he was 10 and never returned to Vrindavan to meet his old friends. Uddhava, Krishna's cousin, completed his studies under the guidance of Krishna and asked for the title of Maharishi. To which Krishna replied saying, visit Radha's place and deliver the message, so that your studies are considered to be complete. When Uddhava asked Krishna about the message, he replied saying, I have nothing to say to Radha. My silence is my message to her. Confused, Uddhava went to Radha's place with a paper where he wrote a long random message thinking that Radha would get angry if he would have given her a blank paper. Radha read the message, laughed and asked, where is his silence? Uddhava had nothing to say. How did you know that he has nothing to say, Radha? Asked Uddhava. Now Radha says, it's beautiful. Just enjoy the ecstasy. Radha says, we have nothing to share, nothing to convey. We share our breaths, time, and every moment of a day. We have walked the path of trust, love, devotion, and sacrifices for so long, even after decades of separation, that even our silence speaks a lot. He does not need to send me messages. His silence can say it all. Such devotion, such love was unexplainable. And here Uddhava was pursuing Krishna for a title of Maharishi instead of getting to worship a god without being selfish. Radha, understanding his dilemma, spoke again. Uddhava, learn to trust Krishna. Your ego stands between you and the truth. Shedding your fear, confusions, and being one with the universe, being one with the one who beholds universe is your truth. Life always gives you moments when you have to choose between two options. Always take side of truth and love, and you will gain wisdom. Each decision will bring you closer to your true self. How can you love Krishna so intensely even when you are not with him, and even then remain free from everything? Uddhava asked. Radha replied, faith and insecurity. There is a difference when you love a person and feel insecure about him, and there is a difference when you have faith in him. Fear results in shackles and faith results in freedom. Fear gets lost in some time, but faith grows with every passing day. The love because of insecurity leads to fear, and the latter leads to enlightenment. And that change is the only constant thing in the world. Even Radha and Krishna are just ripples in the water, but their love will remain forever. Uddhava came back to Krishna, enlightened because his teaching was complete after meeting the soul of Krishna, that is Radha. And he realized what true love means, what true devotion is, and what the truth of life is. That was the relationship between Radha and Krishna. Uddhava, Krishna's cousin, fell in love with his friend's fiancée. Confused about the decision, he came to Krishna to sort out the problem. Krishna said, "You can be with every woman you love in your life. Just convert the passing fire into the sacrificial fire on an altar. Stand true to yourself. Build an altar of devotion around her. Offer her the most precious thing you can offer. Then she will give you the warmth and strength of the sacrificial fire." Uddhava, I have done this, and with every woman who came in my life, whether it was Yashodama, the Gopis, Devkima or Radha. And if you cannot worship the altar of the woman, your love for them is selfish. You have no devotion to offer her. You only want her as a passing glow, said Krishna. Uddhava, you have always scolded me for leaving Radha and Vrindavan, but I left her because I wanted her to be my sacred fire. I loved Radha because I used to think that I will be a cowherd forever in Vrindavan and spend my life loving Radha. But I was not destined to live in Vrindavan forever, and it would have been injustice to bring Radha with me, who would have never found her Kanha in the Emperor Krishna. I was the very breath of her life, but I parted from her because I love her truly and didn't want her to stop loving me for someone I was no more. I wasn't the Kanha she loved. She has always remained there with me as my soul, and I have remained the truth of her life. It was the only way, said Krishna. Isn't it beautiful? Another excerpt from Sri Prema Samput by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Sri Radhika says to Sakhi, common people say Radha and Krishna are eternally present in each other's heart, and that is why they know each other's minds. Factually, the real truth is this: we are one soul. It is not possible for one soul to become two. In a lake, two lotuses, one blue and one yellow, may bloom from a single stem. In the same way, our two bodies, one blue and one yellow, are connected as one life. They are one supremely profound soul composed of topmost rasa. As bodies, we are separate, but by nature we are one. Krishna is by nature blissful, Ananda, and I by nature am joyful. Just as fire and its burning potency are one, there is no difference between the potency, Shakti, and the possessor of the potency, Shaktiman. We cannot be distinguished from each other when seen as a person and the person's potency, but for the sake of rasa, we manifest in separate forms as Radha and Krishna. Without pastimes, we cannot relish each other, and without form, we cannot perform pastimes. When a container filled with oil has a wick that is lit at both ends, the two flames dispel the darkness in both directions. Similarly, our two bodies are joined together as one soul, destroying the darkness of each other's distress, and also giving pleasure to the Sakhis present with us. Sakhi, when the wind of separation from each other blows, the flames of our two bodies tremble and we both faint at the same time. The Sakhis, all of whom are expert, anxiously try to stop this wind from blowing. They remove all our distress and restore our peaceful condition by arranging for us to enter the house of happiness in each other's company. So, this is so beautiful. Do you still think that a social tag of marriage is really needed for Radha and Krishna? I think this would have cleared your doubt. You cannot compare this relationship with the normal human beings. You cannot compare this relationship with what we have, because we are not so pure. Radha and Krishna cannot be compared with anyone, and we shouldn't even try. We should not compare ourselves with Krishna, because can we manifest ourselves in many forms at the same time at different places? We cannot. So we shouldn't even try to act like Krishna. Krishna is Krishna. There was another controversy where they say that if Radha and Krishna aren't married, why do we worship them together like Sita and Ram? There is an answer by Srila Prabhupada. I will explain this. Srila Prabhupada is very careful that we understand the relationship between Radha and Krishna very carefully. It's not like some mundane love affair between a young boy and a young girl. There are several ways to look at it, but first we must understand this point. Srila Prabhupada points out in one lecture that the love between Radha and Krishna is called Parakya. They are not married as husband and wife. Radharani appears to be the wife of someone else, but she and Krishna were friends from childhood. Radharani could never forget Krishna. They were Kishora Kishori, a boy and a girl, but without inebriety. Here the so-called love is lust. Here the same thing has become its perverted reflection. Just like in a reflection of a original tree on the water, the topmost part appears to be the lowest. Similarly, in the spiritual world, the highest, topmost level of love is Parakya. Parakya means love not by marriage but by friendship. There it is pure. There is no inebriety, perverted. Means the topmost thing has become the lowest. On the other hand, there is another story. When Krishna was a small child, Radharani was asked to accompany him home. In their childhood forms, Radha and Krishna were walking together in Vrindavan. They stopped to rest under a banyan tree, and by their mystic potency, they manifested youthful forms. Lord Brahma was asked to be the priest for the wedding, and guests arrived. Lord Brahma performed the marriage ceremony with all the demigods in attendance. During the wedding ceremony, Radha Rani's sari was tied to Krishna's dhoti, as is the custom in Vedic weddings. When the ceremony was over and the guests had left, they assumed their childhood forms again. Radha gave Krishna to Mother Yashoda and then walked home. In this way, it is accepted that Radha and Krishna are actually married. However, in order to make their pastimes more relishable, Radha is so-called married to Abhimanyu. The intrigue of them, Radha and Krishna, meeting in secret and planning and plotting against Jatila and Kutila, always makes their pastime more relishable. On still another level, Krishna is actually the only male, that is Purusha, enjoyer, and everyone else is Prakriti or female. So Krishna is actually everyone's pati or husband, but especially he is every woman's husband. In fact, anyone who is married to anyone except Krishna is committing adultery. This was Prabhupadaji's statement. So I think this is enough to understand the relationship between Radha and Krishna. And we should simply worship them. Just leave all the controversies aside. When we surrender to Radha and Krishna, we understand that without Radha, Krishna is nothing. Without Krishna, Radha is nothing. So we always say, Prem se bolo Radhe Radhe. We should always chant Radha, Radha, Radha. With Radha's reference, we can get Krishna. So Radha is so important. And they are inseparable. So that is why in all the temples you find the idols of Radha and Krishna instead of Krishna and Rukmini or Krishna and Satyabhama. And when we chant the mantra Hare Krishna, Hare means Radha. So this is the importance of Radha. So we shouldn't compare Radha with any other woman or any other human. We need to understand this. I hope I have helped you with this controversy, clearing this doubt. There is another controversial name of Krishna called Ranchod. So Krishna has many names. Krishna was sporty and his leelas extended in various fields involving various individuals. Some of them are with the milkmaids of Vraja, while some involve the Pandavas. He has acquired a lot of names based on these leelas. However, he also gets many names from Rakshasas, the ones where he killed or liberated. For example, Madhusudan. He got his name because he is the slayer of demon named Madhu. Ranchod is a name given to Krishna due to a very distinct leela that he did. It literally means the one who flees the battlefield. Jarasandh was furious with Lord Krishna who had killed Kansa. To seek revenge from Krishna, Jarasandh forged a friendship with Kalyavan. It is believed that Kalyavan was the son of sage Sheshirayan and the Apsara Rambha. Sage Sheshirayan performed severe penance to propitiate Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva blessed him with the boon of a son who would not be defeated. Because this king could not be defeated, Krishna thought of a strategy saving the king of Mathura from another war. He flees the battleground and moves towards the mountains away from the populace and the army. Not leaving the enemy to escape from his net, Kalyavan follows Lord Krishna to those mountains and caves. He had marked Lord Krishna's distinct yellow cloth as a spotting point. Now, in one of the caves in those mountains, there slept a sage of ancient times who had not woken up. The story says that he had helped gods in the war against demons, and in the boon he had asked for sleep because he felt tired. He also asked that if somebody happened to wake him up, he may get burnt from the light that would emerge from his eyes. Krishna knew both the boons given to Kalyavan and Muchukund. He put the yellow cloth on the sleeping sage and hid himself behind a boulder. Kalyavan mistakenly assumes that Krishna is lying there because the sage had his cloth on. He tries to wake him up. When the sage wakes up, he burns Kalyavan because of his boon. Lord Krishna appeared before the sage and blessed him for helping him kill a demon. He also blessed him with his vision and asked him to move to Badri Ashram. Ranchod seems to be a negative name, but very strategically Lord Krishna used his name to execute a plan where no armies collided but the enemy was killed. Like Makhan Chor, where people accuse Krishna lovingly of stealing their butter, Ranchod became an endearing name and Lord Krishna became famous with this name owing to this incident. So each and every incident is very lovingly connected to Sri Krishna. Of course, we should read about his pastimes. This is what is asked in Kali Yuga, that the best thing is to know about Krishna's pastimes, to listen about Krishna's pastimes. But we should also understand that Krishna is Krishna. Who had the power? Does anybody else have the power to cover the sun during Mahabharata war? He covered it with his Sudarshan Chakra. Does anybody else have the power to lift up Govardhan hill with the little finger on his hand? He did it while he was a kid? Does anybody have the power to take more than 16,000 forms at the same time and be in different places? Krishna did it. So there are so many other tales of Krishna. If you really want to enjoy this bliss, I will suggest, please surrender to his lotus feet and taste the nectar. You'll simply relish it like anything. You will simply enjoy the journey. The love that Krishna has for us, you will feel that love. And once you feel Krishna's love, you will not relish any other love. It's beyond comparison. So I hope you enjoyed this audio. I hope I was able to help in any way. If I have committed any mistakes, please forgive me, because I'm not a teacher. I'm not a mentor. I'm just a friend who's just trying to bring you closer to Krishna. That's it. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye.